You have to go first, and you cannot waver in that vision that you see. Because trust me when I say, the resistance will turn into acceptance, and the acceptance will turn into cheerleaders who are now hip hop dancing around when they haven't danced in forever.
Hey everyone, it's Amy Lynn Durham, and you're listening to Create Magic at Work. Create Magic at Work is on a mission to equip senior leaders with tools they need to be a true quantum leader and actually understand what that means. Improve employee engagement, retain top talent, and transform your workplace culture to have less drama and stress. So let's start making magic.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Create Magic at Work. This week, we are bringing some fun to the Create Magic at Work community. I'm really excited to have this guest. Her name is Alexandria Agresta. She's a renowned leadership development expert and TEDx speaker with a clear vision. Don't let the magic die inside you. With over a decade of experience, Alexandria has guided 200 plus organizations to success, establishing herself as a trailblazer in courageous and visionary leadership. She is pioneering a new path for self-expression and creativity in the workplace, bringing her signature sparkle and unwavering belief in all that is possible. Alexandria is also a DJ. Made for Magic is her stage name. I mean, can you not... Like, the connections with Create Magic at Work are incredible. And by the way, if you go to Alexandria's website, it literally looks like the sister of Create Magic at Work. I mean, it's just so incredible that we connected. So Made for Magic, Alexandria uses the power of music to remind people of the magic that they already have inside. By merging her speaking and DJing talents, Alexandria has also become the world's first DJing speaker. Yay! Creating an unforgettable experience that blends motivational insights with electrifying beats. Alexandria is here to invite all of us to play. We love that. That's one of the Edgewalker qualities, playfulness, and dance in new possibilities. So we're going to get the party started. Alexandria, welcome to Create Magic at Work.
Oh my goodness. I'm a big believer that us who are woven from the same fabric, we will always find each other. I am your Create Magic at Work's little sister who's like the DJ sparkle gal on stage.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. Thank you for being here. So tell all of us a little bit more about you and what inspired you to become the world's first DJing speaker.
Yes. Well, I mean, a big topic of our conversation today. I've always been such a big believer in the power of creativity, of self-expression, of leading with courage, leading with that fearlessness. I really believe, one of our sole purposes as humans on earth is to share our self-expression with the world. So I've always been, that one in the friend group that was doing things a little differently, that was challenging things and really just going to those edges that we can't see when we're only leading from the mind, but when we lead from our heart, where the magic is, I feel like we get to create a life of really cool things that we could have never imagined. So my love for public speaking and my gift for speaking, my love for leadership and becoming an incredible leader, and the fact that I've been a raver girl for 15 years of my life, I think through the powers that be of magic, they all kind of swirled together and created the world's first DJing speaker, where I bring together leadership insights. I bring together music and movement, actually getting up and dancing and moving, and motivational speaking to create an experience that gets us out of our head, gets us into our heart, and most importantly, gets the energy of our next level that we desire actually moving through us. I think, I'm sure we've all experienced this in our own way. It's easy for things to get stagnant, especially in the Zoom culture where we're sitting down all the time. So music and movement and magic is such an incredible way for us to actually tap into our next leadership level. So I'll leave it at that. because I feel like I just gave you a lot of little nuggets, but all in all, creativity, self-expression, that's where it's at. And I think all things are possible when we lead from that place. So that's how that came to be.
Yeah, I love how one of the things you say is that work doesn't have to be lifeless, dull, and flat. And the whole goal of Create Magic at Work when I first started the company was to bring that childlike, whimsical feel back to the workplace with team building activities that help you tap into that feeling of magic and bringing that to the workplace. What are some of the things that you see when you're working with companies? Because I picture some of you're very courageous. I can tell that it's a part of who you are to be this, outgoing, bringing magic and sparkle to everyone. What's the reaction that you get when you show up to these company meetings or retreats and you're asking some buttoned up suits to get up and start dancing? And tell us a little bit about that experience.
Oh, you're going to love it. You're going to love it. I have some terms for us that I think everyone's going to love. But first, thank you. Thank you for seeing that courage in me. That's a really big value in my life. And I realize that when we choose to be courageous, it's this gift that pours out onto everyone else. And then everyone starts to see their own courage within. So thank you for that. Okay. So I always joke, I have my super fans in the front who are like, I love this all day long. Sign me up. I'm in. And then I got my coconuts in the back. The coconuts are the ones buttoned up. They got their hands like this. And they're like, I don't know who this crazy girl is, but I'm not down. Listen, I have a range. And although I show up with belief and possibility and creating that space where people can just let go and be themselves, people have walls up. And that's okay. That's a part of our human conditioning. And I think it takes a person, a place, a thing, an experience to hopefully bring those walls down. But I have a whole range, but I'll tell you this, I'm whipping up my pen for this. I've had an experience where the most coconut gentleman is a scientist, very rational, very data-driven, right? My data-driven peeps, it's sometimes tough to get them into what I call their squishy nature, the emotional side of them. Spent a whole day with this gentleman, and he did not want to do all of this. He did not want to do the exercises. He thought it was insane in the membrane. And by the end of the day, Amy, it was beautiful. He came up to me with tears in his eyes. I mean, I don't know that this man has cried since the day he came out of the womb. Like, he had tears in his eyes. And he said, what you did today was preposterous, but thank you. He used that word. I'll never forget it. And I looked at him and we just had preposterous. Yes, he said it was preposterous, but thank you for what you did. He said, you have a gift. Thank you. And thank you for sharing it with me. And I was like, and I hugged him and I said, you know what? That's why I want, and this is a good lesson for all of us. Those people in the back who you might feel aren't accepting what you're sharing, or maybe you feel that rejection or that, get away from me. Those people need you most. They need your gift. They need your magic. They need your leadership the most. And if you can just keep your heart and the space open to them, they'll come around. They will come around.
Really good. Yeah. So tell me about some of the, you just shared that story, but I'm curious to know what you feel some of the healing, I guess what's coming up for me is like, you're talking about healing truly, because I think of the 4 universal healing salves. I talk about that quite a bit on the show from Dr. Angelise Arian. She shares, when did you stop singing would be the question that you were asked, or when did you stop dancing? When did you stop being enchanted by stories? When did you stop, especially your own life story? When did you stop enjoying the sweet territory of silence? And I feel like somehow you're bringing some of that healing to the workplace, which is so amazing. Tell me what your thoughts are on the connection between music, magic, and spirituality.
Girl, I knew you were going to hit me with the best spiritually inclined question. I think this is such great knowledge for all of us. And I know your audience, I feel like, is going to totally get down with this. So as I continue to get into my leadership journey, my speaking journey, and my music journey, right? It's these three things, the triple threat that are now converging to create all this magical stuff. I started to learn more about the properties of music, what it really does to us, the experience it ignites in us. And if anyone's familiar with all the dimensions of consciousness, right? We live in the 3D, then there's the 4D, 5, 6, maybe there's infinite, I'm not sure. But if we just talk about 3D to 4D, so we live in the 3D world. And from my perspective, 3D is mainly run by the mind, what we can see. And when we think about things like create magic at work, DJ made for magic, right? All the magical vibes that we feel here, that's actually happening in one dimension up, the 4D. The miracles happen there. The magic happens there. Because from my perspective, we can tap into a higher level when we let go of our mind. So we let go of this and we just tap into our heart space. So music actually, I'm getting tingles. Music actually has fourth dimensional qualities that when we listen to music, it bypasses the defenses of the mind and gets us cozied up right in our heart space. And we start to feel more effortlessness and the ease and the joy of life. This is why there's certain songs that when you listen to them, they make you cry. There's certain songs that bring back a nostalgic memory. There's certain songs that get us amped up. Like we're motivated, we're inspired, right? There could even be songs that make us angry and fired up, right? The whole range of emotion is important. So it actually helps us tap into this higher dimension of consciousness, bypasses all these defenses, and then allows us to experience a context of emotion that we can't when we're just leading with the mind. So if you're ever feeling stuck, or you're ever feeling like you can't figure the thing out, or you feel kind of that prickliness or hard, my suggestion is, number one, go on a walk. And while you're on the walk, listen to some really great music and just pay attention to how you feel afterwards.
Yeah, really good. I feel like you're talking about how it gives you an energetic shift. And you're so in line with what we share on the show. We actually have a special mini series running right now called The Magic Formula. And two whole episodes are on resonance and frequency.
I love those two words. I love that. I love that.
Yeah, when you were sharing about the connection between music and magic, it actually can change like the way your cells are responding in your body, right? And I think about spiritual intelligence with this. And one of the skills is differentiating between your ego and your higher self in spiritual intelligence. I don't know. I just keep picturing this avatar of this, I've seen it. And even myself, when we're in corporate spaces and we're kind of like, I'm not going to let loose here, like, and start dancing in front of my coworkers or like have some fun. Like I'm not comfortable, or even, I don't know. I marvel at the fact that you can bring this out of others in these types of settings. The other thing I was thinking about is skill 5 in spiritual intelligence, which is the awareness of your ego versus your higher self. And I'm wondering if you can comment on this. When people feel music, when you're DJing and when you're doing your leadership presentation, like you're incorporating music in this magical way, you're the world's first leadership speaker that DJs, right? I love that. I'm wondering if you can comment on this, because I'm wondering if it helps people shift out of their ego, that place where they feel like they have to protect themselves, be fearful, and shift into that place where they tap into their inner wisdom a little bit more. Because I can see this like carrying it all the way down the line into effective decision making, more creativity and innovation in the workplace, right? Like a whole shakeup. And like how you said, if you're feeling stuck, go on a walk, listen to music. Thoughts on things you've seen with that?
Yeah. So I have a couple thoughts. I think the first thing, I always like to start with self and us as a leader. So it's so important, especially if you are someone who likes to do big, crazy, bold things and invite your team to try different things. You set the tone as the leader. And leaders, we're always going to face resistance, always, whether it's 100% resistance or 1% resistance. So in my leadership inner work that I do, I continually remind myself, especially in the moment, I set the tone. I set the tone. I'm going to keep inviting them in. I'm going to keep inviting them in, right? I don't close my heart to the coconuts in the back. If anything, I open it even more to them. And I keep holding the frequency. You have to be a tree, right? I call it the tree of truth. And you are standing so firm in what you believe and inviting people in. So I think that's part one of how do we create magic at work of innovation, play, self-expression. You have to go first, and you cannot waver in that vision that you see. Because trust me when I say the resistance will turn into acceptance, and the acceptance will turn into cheerleaders who are now hip hop dancing around when they have been danced in forever, right? So it's this spectrum that happens. And then the second part, so that's self as leader. Now the other part is the sovereign part of ourselves. Like we have a choice. And I think through leadership and through creating these containers, people get to this point of exactly what you're saying of, am I going to stay in my ego and stay like this and watch everybody else have fun? Or am I going to make the choice to open up and get cozied up in my own heart space and see what happens? So that's the power of holding the frequency, inviting people in, because one after the other, then all of a sudden, you know who the odd man out is? The one with the ego in the back of the room. And that person's the one missing out on a really powerful transformative time. So it's a mix of the leadership and the sovereignty. And it's almost like a powerful version in groupthink. It's like groupthink for good, where we almost help them think their way out of their ego and into a space of possibility. And when we tap into that, everything becomes possible for us. And then these people leave the room all fired up and jazzed up and looking at things with a little more pep in their step.
All right, it's time for a fun, playful, quick break. And it's time for you to discover your spiritual intelligence at work. So over here at Create Magic at Work, we are not just a great podcast. We are an executive coaching firm, a team dedicated to helping leaders like you create healthier, more fulfilling workplaces. Whether it's through private coaching, transformative workshops, or impactful keynotes, we're here to help support your journey to have less drama and stress and more magical moments in your life. So have a little fun. Take our quick quiz in the show notes and see where you stand. Discover your spiritual intelligence at work. Click on the link in the show notes and reach out to us for support if you need it. Sending magic to you. When you talk about how you hold space and hold the energy for everyone, and you're the leader, and you're not going to waver from that responsibility, that is so critical in leadership. I mean, that is the true definition of leadership presence. How can I extend my energy to everyone in this room to help them feel like they're a part of something bigger than themselves? And that, for everyone listening, like that's leadership presence. And when you're in a position of power, or if you're in this hierarchical leadership system where you have a team and you're the quote unquote boss, your energy, the data shows, ripples out 10 times over to everyone around you. So if you're operating from a place of fear and anger, imagine that being 10 times out to your team. Imagine if you're operating from this place of creativity, playfulness, innovation, psychological safety. Imagine that rippling out to your team 10 times over. So for people that don't have immediate access to go see one of your live performances, what can they do? What if a leader is listening and they're like, oh, I want to do something fun like this with my group and my team? What are some small tips that they can incorporate into their work today?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, I think, so this is something that has been done in a lot of tech companies because, they're big with innovation. You can implement a walking meeting and just see the emotional shift and the energy shift. And I would even challenge you, maybe you have a small group working on something and there's some challenges coming up and can't quite figure it out. Do a walking problem solving meeting. That's a really beautiful way to just get energy moving. I like to start people easy with walking because you said it, Amy, the word dancing. It's like, I'm not going to do that. It's like, we have all those gremlin thoughts that come up. So I start with walking. And then the second thing is I encourage you, maybe, you pick a day, let your team listen to music. And I would even say, have everyone co-create a playlist of like good vibes music. Doesn't matter whether it's 70s, 80s, 90s. I love electronic music. I love oldies music, but almost co-create a playlist and play that maybe at the beginning of the day, on a lunch break, right? I'll let you have creative control over it. But again, like Amy's saying, see the shift that happens energetically and emotionally. It's these little things that we can do that really can create that ripple effect. And I love that you said that, Amy. This is why I am so hell-bent on our emotional and energetic state. And I know this is so cliche, but what we put out comes back to us tenfold. And I think you just said it in the most beautifully scientific way of all time. So imagine, you as a leader, think about the challenges, people problems that you have, the challenges you're facing in your culture. Now think, instead of going, well, it's them or it's the culture, it's the hierarchy, go, okay, well, how can I be a part of the solution? What can I shift that can create that instant ripple effect? Because I've learned in my leadership, when I shift my emotional and energetic state instantly, I receive that tenfold almost instantly. So there's a couple things you can play with: walks and co-creative team playlists, and you play more music in the office.
I like the co-creative team playlist. I love that. And the walks, of course, because we are all like staring at screens and sitting quite a bit of our day, the majority of us in the workplace. One of the things I noted on how you show up in the world, and something that was on your website, I was like, I literally just posted this quote on LinkedIn. Like, we're so in sync. It's so crazy.
Tell me, what is it? What quote?
Yeah. So we had a speaker in our Edgewalker Cafe with the Edgewalker leadership team. And it was an incredible cafe, September's Cafe with Sean Harvey. And part of the conversation kind of came up around the divisiveness in the country right now. We're recording this in the middle of October, and there's so much political stuff going on. And when I left that cafe, that Rumi quote just came to me, out beyond wrongdoing and right doing, there's a field, and I'll meet you there. And then I just saw on your website, it says, come from the field, go beyond right and wrong to the field of possibility, a magical place where we step out of judgment and into curiosity. So I just wanted to call that out because that's what this is. And this is what brings productivity and profitability to the workplace, helping people tap into that shift into a higher resonance, a higher frequency, out beyond the field of wrong and right. That's, out beyond wrong and right, there's a field, and I'll meet you there. And I feel like you're spreading this to everyone where there's this more elevated human connection in the workplace. We see each other as human beings, not as working robots that clock in and out and go home. I just wanted to share that theme that we had in common.
Add it to the list of all the other things you have in common. Well, I would just love to respond to that. That quote, I quoted once a quarter. I'll reshare it in my stories. Like it pops up. And when I heard that, it shifted everything for me, and it feels like it was a quote and a piece of wisdom that made everything that I feel about life finally make sense. Because I mean, Amy, maybe you felt this way. We're doing very powerful work, and it's hard sometimes to show people the magic and the possibility and the humanness when we've been in this world and we've been conditioned a certain way. So I know for me, sometimes I feel a little crazy. I feel a little lonely. And that's why I'm so grateful that, we always find each other, who is meant to find each other. And when I see things like that wisdom that's been there, it's timeless and it's been passed on to us. And we get to take that baton and create the field beyond you're wrong, I'm right, beyond criticism, beyond blame, shame, judgment. Because guess what? Where we show up that way in life, and especially in the workplace, guess who it hurts the most? Ourselves. And imagine if every day we woke up, and listen, it doesn't negate that we're going to have hard or we're going to have challenge, but what if our normal state was magic? That's the world that these two A ladies are creating, Alexandria and Amy. Let's go. I want that to be our, standard. And then of course we rise and we fall, we rise and we fall, but we always return back to the magic that's already been here. So yeah, that quote, that's it. That's it for me. That's it. That's the quote.
Yeah, so good. Okay, I'm going to pull a card for everyone today.
Love this. This is my most anticipated part of the whole show.
And I have to note, there's like these magic bubbles on my screen. Do you see those?
I don't think so.
Okay. So on my side, there's like these magic sunlight bubbles where it's the morning over here for me. It looks, the sun is shining by me like insane right now.
I see it now. No, he said it. A bubble just popped up, a sunlight bubble. I know.
I'm like, listen, what's happening? This is like, you're Alexandria, and you are bringing the energy, my friend. I'm like, what is happening?
I couldn't leave the energy at home if I tried. So thank you for seeing me and understanding me.
Let me pull. So this is for everybody. This is from the Create Magic at Work journal prompt card deck. You can find it on createmagicatwork.net in the shop. Let's see what message we get for everyone today. We got motivation. Okay. Motivation. And the illustration is the turtles going to the ocean. So
that's gorgeous.
Yeah. The affirmation for everyone. I stay mentally strong when faced with adversity, knowing that success is the only possible outcome. I stay mentally strong when faced with adversity, knowing that success is the only possible outcome. So this message is for everyone listening. Wow, that is a very powerful message for today.
I was going to say, hold the phone. That feels like the exact message we needed to hear of us holding the frequency as a leader and only believing in the success, in the possibility, in the magic, and never wavering. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Couldn't make it up if we tried. I love that. What a beautiful lesson.
Okay, Alexandria, I'm going to ask you a coaching question on here that you can answer for everyone. I feel like we talked about this the entire episode, but one of the questions on the card is, what actions can we implement that will move us out of our comfort zone?
So again, beyond dancing, moving, listening to music, I'll hit you with one more thing. I'll hit you with the scariest one. So something that I learned in an incredible business partnership that I had. The business is no longer, but our partnership was just incredible. Anytime we felt tension, anytime any of those prickly feelings came up, we taught ourselves to lean in and go to the source. So something that you can do to get outside of your comfort zone is think about your personal life, think about the workplace, and identify one area that feels a little percolate, there's a little tension. And what do you need to do? Or who do you need to talk to? What do you need to say that's going to relieve that tension and replace it with the magic and the possibility? Maybe it's I've been wanting to do that thing that I haven't. Maybe it's I need to have that talk with someone. Maybe it's, XYZ. You know the thing that you need to do. But I've learned that the way to eliminate fear is to face the fear itself. And then the fear disintegrates almost immediately. So I think the best way to continually get outside of our comfort zone is lean into the source of the tension with an open heart and with that courage, and just see all the magic that starts to sprinkle in like Amy's sunlight bubbles.
It's out of control over here right now. I'm like, listen. I'm like, all right, let's see if we can get me on camera again here. I'm like, you
just you've been getting an orb of light just now. It was perfect.
I love that tip because a lot of times we tell ourselves stories in our head about what's going on, and addressing it and finding out the truth or what's really true here could really flip the script on what the story is that's running through your head, and bring some magic to that, because most people aren't operating from bad intentions. At least I like to think so. And so connecting with practicing effective communication, I think, is so important, because we're losing that today, right? I mean, I could go on, but we're losing effective communication skills, and we need to hold on to that. That's part of our humanity, for sure. Okay, Alexandria, if someone wants to hire you to shake up their meetings or their retreats, how can they connect with you? How can they reach out to you?
Well, if you want to connect on the socials, add me on LinkedIn, Alexandria Agresta. I have a pink blazer on. It's hard to miss me. And just add a note that you heard me on the Create Magic at Work podcast, so we can connect more. And then just go check me out on alexandriaagresta.com. You can learn more about the DJ and keynote experience. Like Amy shared, I do also apply that to team building, to corporate retreats. Anytime we want to not only jazz up and bring the energy to your team, but really drop into a more powerful place of learning and growth. So just go there and you can add me, and you can also just type in a booking request, and I would love to connect with you and learn more how we can sparklify your team.
Love it. Thanks so much for bringing this perspective to the listeners and to the Create Magic at Work community. I really appreciate you bringing some magic to everyone today. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. It's been a blast.
I want to thank each and every one of you for coming back every week to listen to a new episode of Create Magic at Work, and really helping to support and advocate for healthy leaders, workplaces, and lives for all of us. If you want any information on how to connect with me, click on the link in the show notes. You'll get access to all of the social media links for Create Magic at Work. Stay following along for more amazing episodes where we help you improve productivity and profitability in the workplace and decrease stress. Sending magic to everyone, and see you next time.